All right, let's dive in. Today, we're talking about one of Kyoto's most incredible cultural experiences, the Kamogawa Odori. Now, this isn't just another dance show. It's a living piece of history, kept alive for over 150 years, and we're going to show you exactly how to experience it like a true insider.
So, I'm guessing you're planning that dream trip to Kyoto in the spring. You're already picturing it, right? The cherry blossoms, the peaceful temples, all that amazing food. It's all on the list.
But you're not the kind of traveler who just checks things off a list. You want to actually feel the timeless culture of this incredible city. You're after a real experience, not just a bunch of photos for Instagram.
Which, of course, leads to the big question. How in the world do you see an authentic geisha performance? You know, the real deal, not some watered-down show made for tourists. How do you find something genuine?
Well, you've got two paths. On one side, you have the shows designed specifically for tourists. Sure, they're easy to find, but they're often simplified, kind of lacking that deep cultural story. But on the other side, you have the authentic traditions, and that right there is where the Kamogawa Odori comes in. It's not a show created for tourists. It's a living, breathing cultural treasure that's been around since 1872, and you're invited to see it.
So let's break down what this performance actually is, and really, what makes it so unique.
Okay, so the Kamogawa Odori is this annual dance performance by the Geiko and Maiko. We're talking fully fledged geisha and their apprentices from the historic Puncto-cho district. It happens every single day from May 1st to the 24th. And this isn't some new thing. It started way back in 1872 to show off Kyoto's culture after the capital moved to Tokyo. And the thing it's really known for? It's the signature super precise fan choreography. It's just mesmerizing.
Now for the important part, actually getting your tickets. You're going to want to pay close attention here, because there are some key details that most travel guides totally miss, and they can really make or break your plans. And here it is, maybe the single most important thing you need to know. You're going to see a price of 4,000 yen mentioned in guides online, but you absolutely 100% cannot buy those cheaper seats on the official website. They're basically reserved for Japanese travel agents.
So, what this slide really shows is the actual choice you have when you book online. You're basically deciding between special seats for around $40 or special seats that come with a pre-show tea ceremony for about $47, but the real difference isn't just the tea, it's the chance to be greeted by a Maiko before the first show of the day.
So here's the bottom line. For just 1,000 yen more, that's about $7 US, you're not just buying a cup of tea, you're buying a personal interaction. You're upgrading the whole experience from just watching a performance to actually participating in a cultural moment. It's a no-brainer.
The booking part is pretty simple. You buy your tickets on the official site and they'll email you a PDF voucher. But listen up for step 3, because this is crucial. You absolutely have to exchange that voucher for a physical ticket at the box office before the show. I mean it. If you just show up with the PDF on your phone, they're going to turn you away.
Okay, now let's talk about the common mistakes people make. If you can just avoid these 3 things, I promise it'll take your experience from just good to something you'll never forget.
First up is this thought. Oh, I'll just hop online and grab those cheap 4,000 yen seats when I get around to it. So many people budget for this, they plan their whole day around it, and then they get a really nasty surprise when they actually go to book.
Because the reality is, unless you have a Japanese travel agent or a really helpful hotel concierge, those seats are pretty much off limits for international travelers. So the solution is easy. Just plan and budget for the 6,000 or 7,000 yen tickets right from the start. Trust me, you'll avoid a ton of frustration.
And this slide, it really puts the second mistake into perspective, right? Skipping the tea ceremony to save a few bucks. For a couple on a typical Kyoto trip, that extra $14 for the upgrade is less than 1% of their whole trip cost. You save almost nothing, but you miss out on that human connection. The very thing you'll actually tell stories about when you get back home.
Mistake number 3 is all about timing. Showing up right as the show starts. Don't forget, you have to exchange your voucher for a ticket and there can be lines. But even more important, if you paid for the tea ceremony at the noon show, that's happening between 11:10 and 11:40. If you stroll in at 11:45, you've literally missed the one thing you paid extra for. You'll start the whole experience feeling stressed out instead of relaxed.
Okay, so you've got your tickets, you've shown up early, you're all settled in. Now let's talk about the amazing artistry you're about to see, because knowing the backstory will completely change how you see the performance.
You're not just in some random theater. You're in a district that was literally built on land pulled from the Kamo River back in 1670.
The first tea houses opened here in 1712. This very performance started in 1872, and you're watching it in the same theater that opened its doors way back in 1927. This isn't just a show. It's part of the fabric of this place.
And the artistry you'll see on stage is just staggering. The kimonos, they can cost tens of thousands of dollars. The Maiko on stage have been training for 5 to 7 years just for this moment. And get this, every single performer, even the musicians, are women. Every tiny stylized movement has a deep meaning, usually tied to the seasons. And pay attention to the silence, the pauses. It's a concept called ma. It's not a mistake. It's a deliberate, powerful part of the art, just as important as any sound or movement.
All right, now for the last really important question. Is this experience right for you? Because being honest about your travel style is the real key to having an amazing time in Kyoto. Look, this might not be your thing if you're hoping for something like a high-energy Broadway show. This is formal, it's slow, it's meditative. There's no break for 70 minutes and no subtitles. So if you're on a super tight budget or if you're traveling with young kids who have a hard time sitting still, this might be a tough one. And you know what? That is perfectly okay. There are other awesome alternatives. You can try to spot Geiko for free in the Gion district in the early evening. That's always a thrill. Or you can check out the Gion Corner Show, which is more of a sampler of different Japanese arts, definitely more tourist-friendly.
But if you do decide to go to the Kamogawa Odori, remember this. You are not just watching a dance. You're witnessing a 150-year-old art form in its purest state. It has survived not by changing with the times or trying to be commercial, but precisely because it has refused to change.
And so the final question I have for you is this. Will you be one of the travelers who steps inside that theater to see the very same performance with the same incredible artistry and dedication that audiences saw all the way back in 1872?